Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. Me, host Imperial Dane. A 1 vs 1 here for you on Monday, the Monday Novice Fight. Samoski Winter. Yes, indeed, Samoski Winter. We shall be watching in the northern part. STC, Mr. Yippeekiyay, fighting for the Soviet Union for the 3rd Tank Corps. Going up against here, Mr. something, but concerning he's supposing Mr. Yippeekiyay, I imagine he'll be Mr. Hansgruber, fighting for the Wehrmacht for the 412th Infantry Division. Grenadiers on the way, Pioneers rushing ahead rather in a curious direction, if I have to be honest. Combat engineers alternating way, are they rushing for the same fuel pot? Because in that case this is a really poor decision to rush for as the Germans. Again, it's going to be the hardest point to connect rather than this one, which again is the easiest point to connect considering his position. And already there I've described that as a bit of a Monday Novice mistake. In particular considering this one is much easier for the opponent to reach, of course. And of course rush into a building and thus oppose you. So this overall already here seeing some very curious decisions. We are seeing additional Grenadier squads arriving here for Mr. Hansgruber, really. Yeah. Conscript rushing out here for Yippeekiyay, heading west while the comrades continue to be a pain in the arse here for the Pioneers. Luring the men close before rushing into the house again. Bit of a game here going on between the two players. Few points secured but not connected. Conscripts rushing ahead, going for this point, and there's going to be nothing connecting it right away. Communists might want to pop out there, and there we go. German incoming fight. We've seen 3 Grenadier squads, rather interesting. Also noting here, Doctrines are Jaeger Infantry, Jaeger Armor, and Spearhead Doctrine for Yippeekiyay. We're seeing Guard Rifle, Shock Rifle, and Shock Army. Shock Army certainly becoming increasingly popular, but not surprised by that. Again, it's a doctrine which offers Soviet players a lot of the things they love in the same doctrine. Grenadiers marching ahead here, coming out of fight from the conscripts. We are noting here that also within the first few minutes, Mr. Gruber here is actually spreading out awfully thin. His infantry is lacking a bit of focus, which could very well prove to bite him in the arse if he's not careful. The fighting continues down here, the conscript forced away here. Although seems only briefly, playing around here with the Grenadiers from Hans, and there we go. Molotovs up for Yippeekiyay, unleashing fire upon the fascists. Shooting away a bit. Grenadiers bring up support there. Pioneers taking losses. The combat is so far holding up reasonably nice. There we go. Grenadiers ambush there. Quick Molotov could definitely. There we go. Molotovsky and boom. One Grenadier squad on the run. The other one caught out in the middle of the road. Not looking too good either. So far, the German player has failed to actually seize much ground and actually even less connected again, due to the fact the way he rushed out, and again also due to the fact how he's been spreading out. And right there, Yippeekiyay decided it was a grand idea to run straight through his own Molotov. Fun fact, it's not. Be mindful of the Molotovs you throw, and try not to walk into them. You'll find your men last surprisingly longer when they're not on fire.
Frozen Grenadiers here.
More conscripts are running there for Yippeekiyay, and we're seeing not 4 but 5 squads of Grenadiers on the way here for Hansgruber. That's an awful lot of Grenadiers. No support weapons at all. Definitely something else. Not necessarily bad, but at the same time there's definitely going to be some weaknesses with this.
Red Army unit attacking.
One squad of Grenadiers holding up here on its own. Low on health, no support again. He has spread his Grenadiers out awfully much all over the place, with very little support and interconnection going on between them at the moment, which does render things a lot easier for Mr. Yippeekiyay, and particularly if Mr. Yippeekiyay actually works together with his conscripts.
Einsatzbereit.
Taking up going on there. So far the Soviet player is having a nice time grabbing most of the map. Whereas again the German player is barely holding anything. He's finally, after almost 5 minutes, managed to secure a few points which can then also actually connect.
Ready.
There we go, tech up. Grenadiers are caught in the middle of a nasty situation. Conscripts need to be careful. And there we go, Molotov, quickly popping the Grenadiers out the back door, good job there. More German infantry advancing. But again, there are clear problems here for our German friend. He needs to at least connect some of these points and get some resources that way. Because currently it's really not working out, again because he's spending his Grenadiers so thinly. Although, I mean, Yippeekiyay is doing it a bit more, but we're actually seeing him focusing a bit more as well. And there we go, looks like we're seeing a more of a concerted push. Finally, going on for the German infantry, rushing up the fuel points. Conscripts out in the open versus the Grenadiers. Not really the sort of situation you want to be in, but there we go. The threat of Molotovs forces them away. A rifle grenade here could perhaps be the solution. And there we go. Point secure once more. And thus the fuel once more begins flowing in as well. Still no effort towards taking these points here. Again, another problem that would seem to be here for Mr. Hansgruber is a bit of a poor decision making when it comes to taking points. There you go, point secured. And again, he needs these points here to get that one. Otherwise, he's going to need to get up here and take that one. And of course, secure all of this. Simply put, there seems to be a bit of a lack of cohesion in Hansgruber's plans overall. I mean, he's got a lot of infantry, which is great, but they don't really seem to be working together to a larger extent, which is what you'd call bad.
Standing by!
Live grenades here would be a good idea. I mean, just fire more towards, for example, one of the sides where there's a lot of conscripts and kill them. Also, secure these points quickly, please. Lots of resources being floated here, going for the cut-off there. We're seeing Mr. Yippeekiyay marching up there, and we are seeing a support weapon company up. Huzzah!
Yeah? Enemy has spotted us! Grenadier down!
Mine went off there, killing some poor bastards, so at least Yippeekiyay had mine, which is good. Pioneer is forced away, and these Grenadiers need to pull back. In fact, retreat and needs to get some better troops into the line. And of course, he would benefit getting some light machine guns for some of his Grenadiers to help against the Soviet attackers. Bunker up, no set munitions going towards that, so at least he's going to support his Grenadiers that way, which is nice, but again, you know, it would also be very nice if he would coordinate them. Yippeekiyay actually fanning out in a bit more of a concentrated fashion. Flamethrowers up for his Compagneers. Medics up in this space as well. So far, so good.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector. We are ready!
Taking up position in the church, again a more dominating presence in the village centre. Lovely. Like to make a nice company on the way. Grenadiers reinforcing, getting ready, getting healed up. But again, so far the 12th Infantry Division having a rather scattered effort on this battlefield. Having been up probably providing anything serious, and there you go. One squad pushed away. Seems a bit of a hasty retreat considering he also had another Grenadier squad in the house here, which means all of a sudden it's going to be on its own. Molotov lobbed here. Apparently he was hoping to force him out of the house, instead he threw it at the front of it rather than actually at the church, which seems a bit curious. Also seems to have a very close hitting his own men. Yuri, stop throwing Molotovs at me! I'm not a fascist! No matter how many times you call me that! And there we go, shock troopers out. Heavy mortar out, so obviously shock army doctrine. I suppose at this stage, not so much of a shock for our friend here, Mr. Hansgruber. Scout car on the way. Like the punch speed, I'm going again for the cut-off point. Then he's going to counter-attack, which is good. Then it's Molotov. Looks like a rifle grenade flying out somewhere.
We're under Soviet attack!
They don't know what they actually were supposed to hit. But there we go, looks like a nearby Panzer division has provided some light support. Lots of manpower being floated again, now all those funny little novice mistakes. Again, you know, he could use it, for example, to secure this point instead of a munitions cache. It'd be a lot harder to ration than one up here. I mean, I definitely think he should begin using the resources, hopefully, and well, something.
We have the sector!
And these grenadiers need to retreat immediately. The shock troopers are here with their PPCH-41s. And there we go. 3 went down. Heavy mortar firing away. Grenadiers are awfully clamped up. They need to spread out a bit. Keep moving them a bit. Oh, never mind. There we go. One hit here from heavy mortar. Wipe them all out. Finally getting some points up there. Great. But still, lots of manpower floated. Perhaps get a Panzer Grenadier 2. Perhaps some packs. But at least, you know, gain some ground here and set up some catches. Spend, man. Spend. Popping over here, 2 Yippeekiyay, 4 squads of conscripts, 1 shock trooper squad, Commies mortar. At the same time, there's currently 1 large weakness here for Mr. Yippeekiyay, that is armor. And of course, that could be another possibility here for Mr. Hansgruber. If he were to rush for armor, he could catch Yippeekiyay with his pants down his ankles. Playing a bit conservative here, but the scout car doesn't want to get a surprise with an anti-tank grenade. Not a bad idea. And looks like Hansgruber has finally, after 10 minutes, managed to stabilize a chunk of the map. Though, of course, rushing straight here a bit recklessly. Pushed away. And, of course, we got a heavy mortar bombarding away, making it rather difficult for Hansgruber to establish any sort of more stable positions that way as well. And there we go. Scout car down to an anti-tank grenade through the engine block. Rather tragic. Forced retreat through all that. Panzer Grenadier arriving now, apparently, it would seem.
Enemy forces are attempting
With
to
lots
capture
of lovely Sturmgewehrs. Again, not going to do anything to guard this, instead going to rush again for the opponent's viewpoints, which of course he can never use because he doesn't have the territory here. Again, there seems to be sort of, you know, there are some flashes of bright ideas, but they're not quite fully there.
Your orders,
Which rather constantly ensures that in several cases, what he does ends up being half efforts that can't quite be fully utilized.
Anti-tank gun is ready for action.
Also, not a good idea to stand out in the open like this, with lots of opponents on all sides, having mortars nearby, and shock troopers bringing from the other side. I mean, this is the case where you don't want to be caught out in the open. And we just saw most of the Panzer gunners getting wiped out except for 1 man in a matter of moments.
We are ready.
Build it or blow it.
And we're seeing here that Yippeekiyay is making good progress all across.
Area secured. Supply sector under attack.
Engineers ready.
Combat engineers moving ahead, burning away there. Though, of course, they are themselves out in the open, so that should give a chance to the Germans, though. Heavy mortar, of course, doing its best to make that a miserable experience.
What do you want?
And for some reason also moving up here. Seems a bit like a wasted effort when he's barely getting any territory himself. And now submachine guns being equipped for some all of these conscripts. Fire on the ice.
Ready.
And shock troopers pushing ahead against the grenadiers with the light machine gun again. All of his infantry is so scattered all across the place. I mean, there's no real way here that the German player is getting in any punch. It's rather making it a lot more difficult for him than it should.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
So pushing ahead here again with German infantry. Panzer is joining in now. Grenades up. This time didn't do much. Pulling back, heavy mortar firing in. Shock troopers acting negative cover, meaning they are easier to hit and take more damage here from the assault rifles, the Sturmgewehrs. Of course, I mean, you generally don't want to run too close to them. Panzer grenades actually have the advantage at range, not close up against shock troopers.
Well done, comrades.
It seems like Hansgruber here didn't really care much about that. Targovi Battalion Command going up. Yippeekiyay going to move on to something a bit more armoured. Not a bad idea.
We are target, mister.
We have an isolated sector.
And again, he's got troops all over the place. Never really managing any concentration, never managing any real serious punch. Which again is quite unfortunate.
You have orders? We are ready. Engineers ready.
Troops reinforcing here.
The new men have arrived. Enemy fire!
Grenadiers in a bit of trouble.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Ready!
It looks like we finally got a concentration of German infantry over here. Grenadiers with light machine guns and all the other fun stuff. Panzer Grenadiers moving a bit too far ahead. Should we pull back and get reinforced and healed? It looks like he completely lost it over here. Pack on the way, obviously getting worried about Soviet armor now. And finally taking a point down here. Finally. Taking its time, that's for sure. Another squad of German Panzergrenadiere.
Mortar crew, ready!
And a field gun up in return here from Mr. Yippeekiyay. Obviously worried about some sort of armoured rush. Preparing himself for any sort of armoured assault, that is good. Trying to shore up that one otherwise great weakness he has, which would be armour.
Here standing by.
So lovely work there, though he might want to get a little bit closer to the front line.
Conscripts ready and willing! Fire incoming!
Pushing up here, need to be careful, careful. Getting the Grenadiers up to support would definitely be a good idea. Support armour caught up, so both players now have buildings for tanks, and we also see here that Mr. Yippeekiyay also loves flooding his resources again, which is something you should generally try to avoid unless you actually intend on getting something big. And obviously his doctrine doesn't really allow for any big tanks. Of course, he could have gone for the howitzer, no, he couldn't even at that point. Conscripts rushing ahead here, Panzer goes up, Grenadiers in another building. Light machine gun fire, don't give their fire. Lots of losses here, lots of Molotovs, lots of burning. Yeah. And looks like, yeah, I mean, now while he's finally actually concentrating his infantry, he's also doing a lot more damage to the Soviet player, although at the same time, oh, Gott im Himmel. The bright future cop shot, the Panzer is all dead in the snow. That could have been coordinated a bit better. That looks like more Grenadiers are ready to move up.
Incoming rounds!
Enemy infantry is engaging us.
He probably could have kept those Panzer Grenadiers a bit more at range. Or perhaps use some grenades. Come on, Grenadiers, get up, get up! It looks like the conscript squads here are finally a bit worn out. Shock troopers finding at range. They are submachine guns, they're not really, long distance weapons. Although I think this PVC-41 for a submachine gun actually had a reasonably high effective range compared to most other submachine guns.
Give them nothing! Kiss him! It is ours.
There we go, Grenadiers slightly pulling back. They don't really have much of a chance as soon as the shock troopers close in. And there we go, T-34 here for Mr. Yippeekiyay. No tanks for Deutsches Freund. Also currently time for the mid-game analysis. We are seeing that Hansgruber here and the 312th Infantry Division is pushing back with some degree of success now. Again, where he's actually coordinating his infantry, where he's actually having squads work together. All of a sudden he's actually doing some serious damage. I mean, he actually managed to sort of do quite a bit of damage here to 3 squads of conscripts with a combination of light machine guns, rifles, and assault rifles. Though we probably could have avoided losing that squad of Panzer Grenadiers. And again, in that sense, he should be careful. He doesn't end up wasting too much. But now, something is actually maturing. There's a plan sort of appearing, though he's probably still floating resources, which again is not good. He's also stabilizing a front line. He's actually gaining some amount of territory. But of course, now armor's appearing. And of course, we have an increasingly large veteran Soviet army with an awful lot of submachine guns. And I mean an awful lot. That's definitely going to be something that's going to hurt. Albeit here Yuri looks a bit constipated. But that's another matter. So of course for Mr. Yippeekiyay, he probably wants to press the flanks a bit harder. I mean, this one should probably quickly be cleared out, secure perhaps with some mines, and they could switch towards this. And of course he should try and ensure that T-34 doesn't get caught up in a direct confrontation with anything serious, but just sort of swoop around, hit the weak spots, fire away with its machine guns and its main gun, doing as much damage as possible. It was a tank that very much relied on its speed and its gun, not so much in its armour. In particular, not by 1944-45, where it was particularly deficient. And of course, with the German player secure, keep pushing, get some guns out, some Panzer IVs, perhaps a Stug might suit him better. And of course, if he hasn't chosen a doctrine, choose one. And perhaps some caches might also prove beneficial, and some mines as well. And of course, try not to lose more infantry in silly ways. There's a chance of the fight. And there go the shock troops this time around actually get overwhelmed.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
T-34 rolling around. Not entirely sure what he's looking for, it would seem.
You need something demolished?
Enemy troops engaging us.
Infantry!
And there we go, German infantry coming on fire from the T-34. T-34 moving awfully close to the Grenadiers, and there we go, Panzerfaust penetrates the frontal armour, and there we go. Grenadiers on the run, Panzerfaust versus conscripts with submachine guns, getting a few kills there, and left and right, and there we go, T-34 moving, and there we go, retreat going in there from the Panzergrenadiere, in the face of the T-34 and conscripts though, not without a damaged engine.
Enemy forces
That could have been handled a bit better, I think, here by Mr. Yippeekiyay, a bit less recklessly.
What is it?
And the Grenadiers are getting a bit too close to the enemy base, and it's 50 cal machine gun nest. And a large quantity of Soviet troops moving out here from the motherland. Also, it might be an idea not to park your tank on the very small stream of ice which it can fall through if you're not careful if someone shoots at you. Just a suggestion.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
And looks like a Panzer has arrived now here for Hansgruber, a Panzerkampfwagen 4. Courtesy of the 20th Panzer Division.
T-34 ready for
Mortar ready for order.
Conscripts here.
We are ready for
Engineer squad.
This time keeping the T-34 a bit more at range, that is good. Communist dealing with the closer quarters. With a flamethrower.
Casualties! I think I have snow in my pants.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Time to pop back here to Hansgruber, who's gone for Jaeger infantry, but so far has not used it at all. Also known again, still floating manpower, again something he seriously needs to look into. But also he's not even got the munitions to really utilise the doctrine. He's got, what, one squad with a Gewehr 43 so far. He could easily have a few munitions carried up, then have a lot more munitions for the doctrines, thus having a lot more of his grenades equipped with Gewehr 43s. That would definitely have done him a lot more. So again, I mean, clearly, there seems to be some bright ideas behind all of this, but it also seems like Mr. Hansgruber here can't actually get around to executing them. Or at least lack some fundamentals in actually getting somewhere with them. I mean, Jaeger infantry is very much one of the most munitions-intensive doctrines in the game, and for that to really get anything out of it, you need munitions caches. You need them. Yet that doesn't seem to appear into the thoughts here of Hansgruber. Grenadiers very much on their own. Molotov shock troops moving in. Conscripts rushing ahead. Panzer and Pack doing what they can. Drive grenades also flying through the air. Mines going off there, close getting the squad. More Panzer grenades, now getting a mortar all of a sudden. Still no sign of a cache, still no sign of anything that might get more out of his doctrine. Also noting he's got 6 squads of infantry. T-34 making a frontal assault, which is a bit odd. He knows his opponent has a Panzer IV and a pack. So quite frankly, seems like a very odd choice. And there we go, T-34 down. Not really the best engagement there for him. Grenadiers should be careful about coming up in front of a field gun, as he could decide to barrage this little cluster of infantry and actually wipe them out with one lucky hit. Shock troopers versus Panzer Grenadiers. Who shall win this fight? Another T-34 moving ahead.
What do you need?
Part of it will also see from Mr. Yippeekiyay. 2 field guns out now, by the way. 2 field guns now. And these here could do with a rifle grenade if they so fancied.
Awaiting orders.
Yeah?
We have it!
And once more, The German player has lost a lot of territory. I mean, considering all the infantry he has, he's not really getting the most out of it. Half the time.
Ja? Shit, they're shooting at us! Ready!
Quickly rolling ahead here.
What do you need?
And there we go, the T-34 unleashes its payload,
Fuck, I'm hit!
killing one of those poor bastards on the retreat.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Push on!
Mortar very much
Awaiting fire mission.
moving too far ahead, I would say. I have no idea what he's actually intending to do with it.
It's done.
But it really shouldn't be that close at the front lines without anything. It should be behind the other stuff. So right here, I feel this is a bit of a poorly conceived idea. Also, again, rushing in like that to troops with submachine guns, not the best idea, in particular cross-negative cover. Really poor engagement here for Hansgruber. Really shouldn't have been conducted like that at all. Bit of a waste of good German infantry. And these grenadiers just need to get out of there. They're down to 2 men as the conscripts rush ahead.
The enemy is taking our territory.
There we go, veterans one for the Panzer IV, a second one on the way.
Ready for battle.
Need to be careful with that Panzer IV. Definitely needs a lot more infantry into support. Quickly, mach schnell, mach schnell. In fact, you have the tactical movement, so you can quickly rush in your infantry now to the front line, to the scene. And again, and the mortar, I have no idea why I decided to send the support unit in like that.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
The sector has been cut off.
Much to have extended at the moment. Losses continue to roll in. And Panzer IV with an exposed rear. As more field guns line up, this Panzer IV needs to pull back towards him, would initially be a good idea. Panzer IV, though, T-34 went down. No deep surprises there. Grenadiers need to be pulled back down to 1 man. Come on, Hans. Save your men. And these shock troops definitely don't stand a chance. Panzer is rolling in. Veterans E2, assault rifles and everything else good. Clearing up here the remaining conscripts, desperately trying to hold the front line.
Standing by!
Shock troopers the next few targets. And a quick few grenades.
Ready!
Complete.
I think we have their attention! We are ready!
We are losing a sector. We are in a dangerous situation. 100 points remaining.
Field gun spotted, the Panzer's moving in. No, 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 they actually pulled back, they pulled back. Oh dear, that was a bit of a missed opportunity.
Ready for orders.
We are ready!
Oh well, once more managed to stabilise the situation ever slightly, but there's going to be even more pioneers to repair all of these Panzer IVs reasonably quickly. Oh well,
Could use some action.
fun story about the Gewehr 43. It is a further development of the Gewehr 41, and rather came about because they actually got their hands on the SVT-40 and figured out actually how to do a semi-automatic rifle, since the Gewehr 41 had some serious problems, and with the, well, grabbing of the SVT-40, they rather figure out what tricks they need to do to actually get a good semi-automatic rifle, hence the Gewehr 43.
The squad of pioneers has
So,
arrived.
little fun fact there.
Territory secured.
Overall, the semi-automatic rifles were never really a high priority in the German army, since the infantry doctrine rather focused on machine guns, thus they figured they could get away with keeping an older rifle, a lot of the Kar 98K for some time. Another large advance going in here for Mr. Yippeekiyay. Conscript supported by field guns and a heavy mortar. Definitely could be a bit of a problem here for Hansgruber. His gun is moving ahead much too recklessly, I feel.
Are securing our territory.
And there we go. We quickly see here that Yippeekiyay immediately proceeds to surround them. And again, negative cover. Being in the middle of the road like that is a bad idea. And there we go. The conscripts just proceed to inflict serious casualties on the Grenadiers. Might even get them. Another give out for the free equip, but retreat, retreat. Why would you get them out of there, Hans? Gruber. Ah, 9. And good night.
We are losing Soldaten.
And that was just a waste of munitions.
Taking fire!
Austin Flatpans on the way might be a way to stall the infantry advance. Panzer coming under heavy fire. Panzer still brushing it as well, getting caught in the middle of everything again. So many submachine guns being directed against them by all these conscripts. And of course they're veterans, so they'll be a lot more accurate, thus doing a lot more damage with them. Shock troops now arriving as well. Panzer here going to be utterly surrounded. Mortar rounds flying in. There we go, retreated. Panzer 4 getting focused down. We do see a bit of blitzkrieg here, a bit of a boat attempt at outmaneuvering. And this squad, oh, never mind, got wiped out.
Squad has been killed.
That heavy mortar is definitely doing its duty for the motherland.
Reinforcements complete. Ostwind ready for deployment. Yeah. Panzer 4 standing by.
Done.
And of course, I mean, both T-34s were rather wasted because they tried to be dragged into an armoured fight, but they clearly didn't have the numbers to sort of really take on the Panzer IVs. I mean, generally, you will need to get more T-34s to take on the German armour than one.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
That's just the way it is. And again, the heavy mortar fires away. Tracking up here, at least he's actually using some veterans' ability to get more of his weapons. That is good. That is actually damn great. I can at least support that. Definitely some promising there for Mr. Yippeekiyay. Panzer 4 Ostwind fighting against the Soviet infantry. And time to pull back. Here's Yippeekiyay. Veterans and 3 shock troopers. That's quite impressive.
You appear suited for command. All units are here.
That was a bit of a dart mortar round.
What do you have for us?
And veterans in 3 conscripts.
Forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Rifle grenades flying through the air. Grenades locked back in return. Not really achieving much. And an SU-85 looks like he went for a American Armor Company. Got an SU-85 trying to deal with the German armor that way. Field guns are still blasting away. Both veterans in 2. And there we go, Ostwind down. Not really the best of assaults.
Tank destroyer here.
Squad replenished. The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Rushing for the victory points, which continue to tick down.
We have taken it. Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
We killed an enemy squad.
And there we go. Game over. A loss for Germany for the 312th Infantry Division, despite pouring in a lot of infantry and going for the very infantry-heavy doctrine. The problem was, though, he made actually pretty rubbish use of his doctrine. I mean, he only really used it once or twice in getting a few Gewehr 43 upgrades. Otherwise, no use of ambush, no use of tactical movement, light artillery barrage, or the Stuka AT run. And again, that was partly now through just not really getting the most out of it all. I mean, he really hadn't thought about it, it seemed. I mean, in a sense, I could see there was a strategy. I mean, he went for a lot of infantry, he went for Jaeger infantry. I mean, clearly he's thinking, I'll get a lot of infantry, I'll get them upgraded, I'll really get them to do some awesome stuff. Great. I mean, in its essence, that's a good idea. The problem was then, he actually didn't follow up on it. It seems he went for it basically a bit half-arsed, and then all the other requirements didn't really appear. For example, I mean, again, if you're going for Jaeger infantry, you are going to need munitions cases to really support it. That never happened, so he never really managed to get anything out of a really lot of Gewehr 43s or a lot of ambush, which again is also a nice ability. Only costs the missions, troops in cover all of a sudden appear and do a lot more damage than they normally would for a brief period. So in that sense, you know, bit of a problem. Also, I mean, his problem also was initially he just spread out so thinly, and the points he took were actually so far away, and he simply couldn't connect them. I mean, in that sense, his capping order was absolutely rubbish. I mean, there was no clear coherence. It was only about 10 minutes in we actually sort of really, got his act together and began, building up a solid front line. That definitely hurt him as well, and that definitely allowed Yippeekiyay to really get stuck in. So in that sense, I mean, there were clearly several problems for Hansgruber here. I mean, there was clearly something of a bright idea going on, but ultimately he couldn't execute it for whatever reasons. And again, he should have had munitions caches up, and he also probably could have used his armor a bit better, but, that's another matter. Mr. Yippeekiyay played reasonably well. He actually got most of his infantry up to veterancy 3. That's pretty damn impressive. He didn't make much use, for example, of, say, the weapon support campaign, except getting a few field guns, so they paid off. He could perhaps have fired a few barrages. He could have also laid down a lot more mines, but he made certainly better use of his doctrine than his opponent, although we didn't see any Sturmovik, nor did we see the howards up, so that could also perhaps been a bit improved. Overall, though, he actually played nice. The only problem really came about when how he used his tanks, which was rather lackluster, and again, rather seemed to run in the assertion that they equal to Panzer IVs. They are not. Again, you will need more T-34s to take on Panzer IVs in general. I mean, that was rather how Soviet armor ran. It was not really built for taking on other tanks, and thus you needed numbers and you needed speed. And of course, generally also tried not to attack the Germans where they were strongest, which was also a bit of a problem that Yippeekiyay tends to run into, those direct attacks on the packs when you rather want to actually figure out where you can flank them, that way do some nasty damage. So, some problems there as well. But overall, hope you learned something from this match. If you did, want to subscribe to your friends. If you did, want to provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.